Hello, hello, and welcome back to the Pure Nintendo Podcast. This is your weekly dose of all things Nintendo. My name is Gemma, and joining me this week for this special episode is my good friend Trev. Welcome back, Trev.
Hi, Gemma. I am stoked to be here.
Thank you. Me too. And why is it a special episode? Because this happens to be our 50th episode. We're very excited. We've been doing this for 50 weeks now. So congratulations, Trev. And Kirk is not here this week, but thank you, Kirk, and Justin and Katie, who join us occasionally as well. Yeah, it's been a fun ride, and I'm looking forward to the next 50.
Absolutely. And we've had, special guests too, on a couple episodes, which
Yes.
is always great. And,
Hmm.
really the biggest congratulations is to you, Gemma. This could have easily, uh, there was that transitional period. This could have easily fallen by the wayside, but you kept it going. So, uh, this
Oh,
podcast is your
thanks.
baby.
Yeah. Oh, it's so much fun. I love chatting to you and Kirk week to week and everyone else who joins us along the way. Yeah, it's the highlight of my week, and I hope listeners find enjoyment from it. We did get a really nice comment a couple of weeks ago. Someone said thank you. They found this podcast and they were glad they found it because it was nice and chilled. Which we do read all the comments. We love hearing from you. So if you are a listener and you do enjoy the show, please do let us know and reach out, ask any questions. We will attempt to answer them on the show as well. Yeah, but it's a fun time, and we love talking. We're huge Nintendo fans, in case you can't tell, and that's why we we get a kick out of doing this every week. So, yeah, and this week we have a lot to talk about on our special anniversary show. We have Mario versus Donkey Kong, of course, that we've been playing. We've got the new Peach trailer to talk about, a few other little bits and pieces in terms of news and games we're playing, plus our usual Switch 2 rumors of the week. I'm excited to bring that up because I know it relates to something you said a few weeks ago, Trev, which would be cool.
Yeah. Look
Yeah.
forward to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's been a big week for Nintendo news in general. I just feel like people have been, and I was saying this to you before the show, there's just been so much chatter online about a lot of different topics. And one of those is Princess Peach and Princess Peach Showtime, which is coming out in around about a month now, March the 22nd. And Nintendo dropped a new trailer, just last week with four new outfits and abilities. Have you had a chance to check this one out?
I did. I thought it was a great trailer. Um,
Hmm.
it really kind of showed off, I think, what the game's going to be. And
Mm.
for a game I was mildly interested in, I think I'm more excited for it now. I thought each of the new outfits was great, not just in terms of how they play, but even like the aesthetic touches that accompany them.
Hmm.
It I thought it was really cool. I mean, we'll probably talk about each of them, but and
Mm.
certainly a good job, Nintendo. You got me more excited for a game that maybe I wasn't terribly excited about.
Yeah, I think that's the case. And I've just noticed, like I said, there's just so much talk about Peach now online. It seems like a lot of people feel the same way. They're getting really excited. It's almost like because we've had a few trailers now, and this one almost pushed people over the edge in terms of excitement. I don't know if it's the new abilities or just the fact that there are now so many abilities, and the gameplay looks to be quite varied thanks to those, outfits. So this time, we were given the figure skater, and they're quite different, right? So we have, a figure skater Peach who, dances around the ice and looks really cool.
Yeah, it's so
The
pretty
dash
too. It really
they are. They really are. Yeah. Peach, she deserves this special treatment. And I'm glad it's not just, when they announced this game and it was very light touch, I think when they announced it at the end of that direct last year, wasn't it? And it was just like, there's a Peach game coming and it was very like a tease, wasn't it?
yeah, you couldn't really even tell like the style of game it
Mm-hmm.
was. I feel like with these new outfits, you kind of get a more of a sense of the general flow of the game.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm loving the theme, of a theater, and obviously each of these outfits is like, well, it's like being an actor, I guess, right? You're playing a part, and so Peach gets to play these roles in the game. And did you notice in the trailer I don't remember which outfit it was. Maybe it might have been the dashing thief, which looks like she can, you know, move really quickly and sneakily, or it might have been the Mighty Peach, but I think it was the thief one where she's like jumping almost like a platforming style. It reminded me of Mario 3D World a little bit. She's jumping up and kind of ninja. She's kind of ninjaing across like up levels in a platforming kind of sense, but like in this 3D-ish environment. I don't know if you remember seeing that, but I saw that and it kind of stood out to me as like, huh, it looks like there's going to be more than just, it could have looked like a mini game situation, like with the patisserie peach that we've seen, where she's decorating a cake. That sort of looks a little mini game style, but it looks like it's really varied in its style and its gameplay. Did you notice
Yeah,
that one? Yeah.
I think so. I like
Mm.
that. It almost like she had like when she was pulling herself up, almost like one of those like bionic commando type arms. Like I
Mm.
don't know what the thief terminology is, but
Yeah.
uh, I got to think back to the cat burglar episode of The Simpsons there.
Yeah.
Um, but no, it was
Y
cool, and I love like just the look of it, like with the kind of city background
Mhm.
and the funky
Yeah.
music is like, yeah,
Yeah.
it just
Y
it's I tell you, for last week I talked about how like I was sort of underwhelmed by the demo of Mario
Mhm.
versus Donkey Kong. This trailer really, you know, I don't want to say overwhelmed, but it impressed me.
Mhm.
And it's a nice rebound effort, I think.
Yeah, and I'm glad because this is, we've got Nintendo's been giving us a fair bit of love recently in terms of Mario versus Donkey Kong. We've got Paper Mario at some point this year, Mario RPG, but they're all revamps of classic games. Even though I know we did have Mario Wonder as well, but this is kind of Nintendo's only first party new title that we've got in the works at the moment. So it's a big,
Mhm, that we
it's a
know
big
of, yeah.
that we know of, yeah, exactly. And it's relatively big for them and, you know, I think they have to they have to kinda convince us because it's different. It's not Mario and it's not even Luigi. It's not even a series that we've had before. It's not Paper Mario. It's not anything. It's completely new, which is great. But obviously that does take convincing a little bit for people, and it seems like they're doing well with that, with their marketing. So and I think I have to say my favorite of the new outfits is the mermaid Peach. She just looks so cute and adorable. And I guess like I just like mermaids. I've always liked the Little Mermaid is my favorite Disney movie. And she just looks great.
Really?
And
I
I,
didn't know that.
yeah, yeah. And I don't know how it's going to work. Again, she's, in a different scene. She's underwater this time. Does the theater flood or is it all props? I don't know. But, it's another varying style of gameplay that looks super fun.
Yeah, and I
So, yeah.
wonder because like, the figure skater and the dashing thief, they look like they're more speedy. The mermaid, I have to
Mm,
imagine, is a little more slower paced and methodical.
mhm.
You can kinda get that sense just from listening to the music, kinda that chill underwater vibe, so I think it's gonna be
Yeah.
good variety.
Yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. And yeah, the music, I mean, yeah, I know you always kind of notice the music, which is really cool because, yeah, it does sound, just from the trailer, it really does sound quite nice. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how it turns out, the full game. Do we know, was this built in-house? It wasn't like one of those things where Nintendo, it's their IP, obviously, but then they sometimes get a third party to help them develop it. Do you know
Oh,
if that's the situation with this one?
I don't I don't know. Um,
Mm,
yeah, that's a good question. I guess we'll find out maybe as it gets, even closer to
mm.
release, but, it
Yeah.
certainly, from appearances, seems to have that first party polish, so
It does. That's what I was assuming as well, but yeah, I wasn't sure. We can find out, that's okay. Yeah, so that's really cool. Mighty Peach was the 4th one, so we've mentioned the first 3. So Mighty Peach is like a superhero kinda character. I just and I they're so different. They're so
yeah, it looked more like a shoot 'em up,
Yeah, yeah,
like Peach was the ship.
yeah. Mm. It's certainly given a lot of depth to Peach's character, she's and she has changed a lot, even just with the Mario movie, she was given more of a heroic kind of stance. She wasn't just letting Mario rescue her. She was leading the way almost, right? So it's really cool that she's not just this peach, this princess trapped in a castle like she used to be in the 80s. She's really come into her own in this game. Will hopefully solidify that kind of thing. And it seems like, yeah, there's just a lot of fans on the internet who just love Peach, which is great. So now we just need a Daisy game for me.
Yeah.
It would be
Hey,
cool if
Jim,
it
and you
was
said
two-player
Mermaid
actually.
was your favorite. I
Mhm.
gotta say, I didn't notice a belly button. Do you think that's an
Ye
oversight, or do mermaids have belly buttons?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because I remember they made a big thing about Mario, when he was shirtless, I think. Like,
Oh,
did he
yeah.
not have, like, nipples or a belly button or something like that? So, fair is fair. Where is Mermaid
Mm,
Peach's belly button?
yeah, maybe it's an unspoken rule about cartoon characters not having belly buttons. It's, like, a little bit too real, you know?
I don't
I
know,
don't
though.
know.
I seem to remember in Mario Odyssey, she showed up in, like, a bathing suit and a sarong setup, and I'm pretty sure she had a belly button then, so
Oh, okay. Unless the fishtail portion was a little bit higher than where the belly button would be, maybe.
oh, maybe, I don't know.
I don't know.
Did the Little
Yeah.
Mermaid have a belly button? I don't remember.
I feel like her fishtail part was pointed, wasn't it, at the top?
You know, I
I
haven't
don't know,
seen
it
the
just
movie since I was a kid.
I
I don't know. I did have a
haven't
good
seen it for a
NES
few
game,
years.
though.
Oh, did it? I never played it.
It
No,
did. It
no,
was an
no.
easy game because it was geared for kids, but,
Oh,
Capcom,
actually
is one of their Disney
oh,
games. They
yeah.
did good work.
Oh, yeah. Actually, it's pointed down, I was wrong, but I don't think she has a belly button, so maybe that's just too weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't look like Little Mermaid does at least, yeah. So maybe
Hmm,
that's why Peach doesn't. Hmm,
interesting. I
interesting.
learned something.
Yeah. Well, I like to say that on this show we ask the tough questions, such as last week. So,
Oh,
yeah, that's
yeah,
the tough
going
question.
from,
Yeah.
Laura's triangles to, Peach's belly button.
Yeah. Yes, exactly, exactly. But did you have anything else to say about Princess Peach Showtime at this point?
Uh,
Or,
no, I'm just excited for it now, and like I said previously, I had mild interest, but now it's
mm,
transitioned to excitement. I'm really looking forward to this one in, about a month.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, I really do think it's tipped people over the edge with that latest trailer. I think a lot more people are on board now, so that's cool. So yeah, we'll see. I don't know if there'll be any more. Well, it's only a month away, so we'll see if there's any more information before then. That rumored direct hasn't happened, so there may not be one
Yeah,
this
well,
month.
did they say something about a partner direct or something?
Yeah, I did see something about that. Yes, I'm not even
So,
sure what that
yeah,
is or
I know it's
when
not
it's happening.
what we were hoping for, but, better than nothing, maybe?
Yeah,
I don't know.
exactly. Yeah. But yeah, the other thing, I guess, one of the other characters that we've been talking about recently is Donkey Kong, and obviously we've got Donkey Kong Mario vs Donkey Kong to talk about later as well. But I did notice that Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze celebrated its 10th anniversary last week on the 13th of February, which I
Wow.
thought was really cool and kind of shocking that it's 10 years old and there hasn't been a new Donkey Kong game since then. I think a lot of fans are clamoring for one. Were you
Ugh.
a fan of Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze?
It seems like 10 years, you're right. It seems like forever
Mm.
since I played that on the Wii U, and I mean, even the Switch, like, I feel like this was kind of an early port. Like, I know they added Funky
Mm.
Kong or whatever, but you know what blows me away, Gemma?
What's that?
I actually looked this up. On the Switch, Tropical Freeze has sold over 4.5 million,
Hmm.
and you add that to the over 2 million on the Wii U. Why is this game not like a why does the Switch not have a Nintendo Selects line? 'Cause on the Wii
Mm.
U,
Hmm.
they did. You could get Tropical Freeze for 20, but I think on the Switch, I think it's still full price.
It is. Yeah, it is.
After
I
10 years and,
yeah, I know.
almost 7 million sold, I think it's earned its, Nintendo Select status or Player's Choice status, greatest hits, whatever they
Hmm.
wanna call it. I think in the twilight of its life, the Switch really needs to get some of these games that label, and there's been rumors about that, right? Because certain
Hmm.
first party games haven't been restocked or are going out of print, so, maybe Tropical Freeze will get one last shot in the arm while we wait for a new
Yeah,
Donkey Kong game. I don't know.
that would be good. And I don't know if you were on the show a few weeks ago when we were talking about sales because it was on sale actually, and I almost picked it up, but I had to decide between that and Sea of Stars, and I did pick up Sea of Stars. I
And
want to pick up Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze on the Switch, but not full price.
I know it's so hard to justify picking up a game that you
Hmm.
already have on Wii U, like, for the longest time, I held out off Mario Kart.
Oh,
Eventually, I
right.
just cashed in some gift cards, but it's like, I already own this
Yeah.
game. Same thing with, like,
Hmm.
Mario 3D World. So, even though there's new
Yes.
content, so
Hmm. Yeah, I
And
did pick up
plus, I
both of
guess,
those.
to also the fact I played Donkey Kong Country Returns probably more than Tropical Freeze, so
Mhm.
I don't have as much maybe memories, but
Mm.
yeah, I feel like an outright brand new game is always gonna win out over a port,
Yeah. Yeah,
unless
that's
it's
it,
Zelda, maybe.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, true. So I'll continue to watch for another a sale. I know there was another big sale, or maybe it's only in Australia. There's a huge sale happening at the moment, but it's not first party, it's indie games, I believe. And yeah, it's just so many titles, hundreds of titles are on sale. So I'll keep an eye out for Tropical Freeze again, being I'm just gonna can you hear all those animals in the background?
Uh, I cannot, but I have heard them before.
Yeah, I'll cut that out. I know I just shut the door because the dog was going in and out, but
Yeah.
oh
No,
man, it's
leave
so
it
loud
in.
around here.
Pure Nintendo Unplugged. We're raw.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, but no, I'll keep an eye out for that. And I think, well, gosh, yeah, you're exactly right. There should be a collection, a series, a special collection. Sorry, what do you call it?
Oh, like the Nintendo Selects lines, which they
Yes, that's it.
have
Yeah.
done for, like, the million sellers. I feel like,
Hmm.
you know, people, well, like us, maybe, who don't wanna pay full price for Wii U games, if they drop this to 20, I could
Mm.
justify it. I'd be like, "Hey, now I can play it in handheld mode."
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yes. Anyway, so 10th anniversary, which is pretty cool, and we've seen so much of Donkey Kong lately. I do feel like he's going to appear again soon. You know, Donkey Kong. There's the Donkey Kong ride at Nintendo World. There's the Mario versus Donkey Kong, of course. He was in the movie. This is now 10th anniversary. So there's been a large gap for gaming. So he's due for something. And that's why there was a rumor recently that maybe he'll be in the next kind of big Mario game or something like that. I don't know. But I think we'll see him again soon. I think in the next kind of year or so. Maybe for the Switch too, who knows? But I think he's due.
You know, there's so much potential, like, we've had, like, the Donkey Kong Country games and the return games, but, like,
Hmm.
Donkey Kong 64, imagine what they could do, like, an open world kinda 3D Roman Donkey Kong, with the
Mm.
Switch or with the Switch 2, you know?
Hmm.
Because on the N64, that needed, like, what was that little red cart you plugged into it to give
Oh,
it, like,
that
more
gave you
RAM?
yeah, yeah. Because it was 60, was it 64 from memory or something?
It was
And
like that
oh,
expansion pack, like, you had to play it with
yeah.
that,
Mhm.
and but
Yes.
imagine what they could do if they took that type of formula, that collectathon 3D type of thing, and, uh, just applied that with, HD visuals and,
Mm.
modern
Mhm.
gaming touches. That's what I'd like to see, honestly, because I feel like that would really feel fresh.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't done a collection, actually. You know, they like to bring things back, you know, as you were saying, from even just from Wii U to Switch, which, you know, probably is because otherwise a lot of those great games were wasted on the Wii U. But even, you know, bringing back Mario versus Donkey Kong, for example, or Super Mario RPG, they don't tend to bring back Donkey Kong titles, do they? Like they could
Yeah.
easily do a Donkey Kong trilogy or something.
You know,
I don't
Donkey
know.
Kong 64 gonna be 25 years because
Wow.
it came out in
Yeah.
'99.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Yeah.
Ugh,
So, yeah,
insane.
definitely overdue. So, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, I mean, there's a lot of Donkey Kong love out there, fans, of course. So, I'm sure he'll be back at some point in some capacity.
Voiced by Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Is that the new, is he the new voice of Donkey Kong? Just sounds like Seth Rogen, really, doesn't it? Yeah. But he said that. He's like, "I'm not putting on a voice. I'm just doing Seth Rogen. If they want that, then that's what they'll get." So he was, yeah. But speaking of the Wii U, it was trending during the week. Did you notice this?
I did not. I actually, when I saw this in the notes, I kinda was looking to figure out why. Um, but no,
Mm.
I missed it. I really haven't been on Twitter. I'm trying to
Yeah.
get Blue Sky going, so maybe that's why I missed it.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was. I think there were a few reasons. One, well, it kind of leads to the next point, which is it's more about some other companies actually, a little bit. But it was interesting because the Wii U, you know, people were talking about it. They were sort of comparing it to Sony because Sony announced that their PlayStation 5 is in the kind of latter phase of its lifespan, like it's kind of ending. ish, if that makes sense. And then everyone was saying, "Oh, the PlayStation 5 is like the Wii U," as in it's under underperforming in terms of sales or whatever, and it's being wrapped up a little more quickly than a usual console life cycle. But the Wii U, like the comments that I was reading, they were they seemed quite positive, and it was a lot of nostalgia for the Wii U, and it made me think, is the Wii U now? Is it like, I don't know. I don't know if this is a good comparison, but it reminded me of how the Star Wars prequel trilogy was kind of panned at the time, especially the first one and maybe the second one. And now it's like all these kids who grew up with it are like, "Oh, I love The Phantom Menace because that was my childhood movie or whatever." You know what I mean? And now it's like all these people who have grown up with the Wii U, you know, kind of have this nostalgic love for it. And it's like the Wii U, and it was kind of getting these props, which we talk about as fans of Nintendo, that the Wii U was kind of underappreciated, right? Like it wasn't a bad system. It had some really good games on it. It was just marketed terribly. So
Mm,
it was just interesting to see that kind of, I don't know, slant on it. And I'm like, huh, the poor Wii U.
yeah.
What do
Well,
you
I tell
think?
you, if the Wii U had sold 50,000,000 or whatever the PS5 sold, I mean, that would be phenomenal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
would have taken
exactly.
that. Um,
Hmm.
but I don't know. I will say, though, I love The Phantom Menace, and I
Yes.
was a lonely voice for many years, so it's nice to see, people starting to come around to that after the latest trilogy, and they're like, "Hey, maybe I
Yeah.
miss George Lucas after all."
Yeah, maybe it is that. Maybe it is. It's like, huh, actually, it was better before. A bit off topic, but apparently the Phantom Menace is celebrating some kind of anniversary this year as well. Is it 25th maybe as well? Was it 99? They're
Um,
bringing it back to theaters
it
in
was
May,
wow.
apparently.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I'm
which I
probably
hope
gonna
they're
watch
doing
it then.
yeah, I know it's in the US. I hope they're doing it in Australia. I haven't checked that out yet, but I really want to take my son because he's a huge Star Wars fan, but of course he's never seen them on the big screen because he was too young. So
Oh, yeah.
I'm really hoping to do that. So yeah.
I saw that
Just
multiple times in the theater. That's how
Yeah,
much I
I saw it. I
enjoyed it.
remember being so excited because I grew up with Star Wars, but not at the theater as well because they were already out when I was around when I was a kid. So I watched them on video, you know,
Oh,
in
yeah,
the late
same. I
Yeah.
wasn't even alive when the first one came out, and then
Yeah,
I was like a
exactly.
fetus when the
Same.
second one came out.
So, seeing The Phantom Menace on the big screen, like a new Star Wars movie, was awesome. So, and that's why I'm excited. And I know this is completely off topic, but when they bring out some new Star Wars movies that, my son hasn't seen at all, like he's seen The Phantom Menace, but just not on the big screen. But when they bring out a new Star Wars movie and I can take him to the movies and see it, that's going to be super exciting for both of us, I think. Anyway,
Yeah.
just thought
So the Wii U is
I'd
the, Phantom Menace of Nintendo consoles.
That's what I'm thinking. I think it is that. Yes, that's my comparison. Yeah. Do you agree? What do you think?
I really like the Wii U. In some ways, I actually like the Wii U better than Switch, just and not overall, but certain elements about it.
Mhm.
Um, and really, even though so many of its best games have been ported to Switch, there's still some games you can only play on Wii U. Nintendo Land, great
Mm,
game.
mhm, mhm.
Xenoblade Chronicles X, Paper Mario Color
Yeah.
Splash, like Star Fox Zero. There's still quite a few Wii U, like first party games that
Mhm,
haven't been brought over, either because they can't, because there's no gamepad, or
mhm.
just for whatever reason. So,
Yeah.
yeah, mine's still hooked up. I haven't played it a ton recently, but it's still
Mhm.
hooked up, and I have a lot of great memories, playing like
Yeah.
Mario Maker on that, and
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
uh,
exactly. Yeah, I loved
yeah,
it. Mine's still hooked up as well. They had those NES remix titles on the Wii U as well, didn't they? Was that Wii
yes,
U? Yeah,
they were
they were great.
so. I Gemma, I've said it before, and I'm gonna keep saying it till it happens. But there's so much potential for that idea that they could bring back,
Mhm.
either another NES remix, an SNES remix,
Yeah.
N64 remix, like little
Mhm.
snippets of games. And it's just a great way to introduce younger players to these classics too. Like we were talking about demos last week.
Mhm.
Somebody might be like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to play Mario 64. The camera's clunky." Well,
Yeah.
here's some little mini challenges. Get a feel for it, and then if you like it, yeah, check out the real game. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. They were so good. They were so cool, so fun and different and quirky, but but nostalgic at the same time, and also introducing new players. They were so good. So yeah, I don't know what happened to them, and I don't know why there aren't more because they were
Uh,
brilliant. Yeah.
they could
Anyway,
bring
we can
out
drink.
multiple versions for every system they've ever done, except maybe the Virtual
Yeah.
Boy, and
Oh yeah, that would
they'd
be hard.
be they'd be million sellers.
Yeah, 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 totally. Yeah, exactly. Oh, let's bring those back for sure. Can we make a petition? I don't know. Yeah, I definitely heard people talking about that as well online semi recently. I know that we're not the only ones who want more of those remixes. So hopefully, I guess, Nintendo's probably got a whole, I imagine a wall in their head office in Kyoto of ideas. I don't know why it's a wall in my head, but it's a wall with sticky notes or something, right?
Not
It's
like a
probably
blackboard or whiteboard.
yeah, it's probably way more advanced than that. It's probably like not even an Asana board. It'd be some fancy Nintendo system that they use. But anyway, in my head, it's a wall, and they've got all these ideas, and they move them around, and like the remix is there, but it just hasn't made it to the front of the line yet. They're just like, no, we've got Princess Peach Showtime first. We can't do remixes. I don't know. It's like,
It would be a good game though for, like, the end of a system's life because you wouldn't have to
mm,
invest, like, a ton of resources, right? Because you have the
yeah,
existing games, the existing sprite work or whatever, and it's just, implementing challenges into
yeah.
a framework you already have, so I feel like it would be a a a lower investment, but potentially a high return.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. Yeah. Well, we'll keep dreaming and fighting the good fight to get it happening. Not that we have much influence in Nintendo, but we can try.
Mm,
Yeah, and I mean, just to close off this news segment with Nintendo being kind of such a hot topic this week, and we don't tend to talk about other consoles so much, but this was news that Microsoft is putting some of its titles onto Nintendo and Sony consoles, which a lot of Microsoft fans or Xbox fans were quite upset about, from what I could see. Um, and I think they did end up listing the first four games that were doing this, and I guess it's to try to save the company in terms of money because obviously in the console wars Xbox is kind of losing that. um it's not a battle, but you know what I mean. They're the lowest of the three, right, in terms of
yep.
sellers. Yeah. And I don't know. It doesn't mean, will they be moving towards kind of what Sega ended up doing, which is just making games. Sega used to be in the console wars, and now their games are on Nintendo systems, which is very ironic for a '90s kid who
Oh.
went through the wars. I don't know. What do you think? I mean, it doesn't really.
Um, I'm of multiple minds. Um, I'm excited, first of all, because I haven't owned a a Microsoft since the original Xbox. I haven't done
Hmm.
any of the follow-ups, so these games will be new to me. I can understand people being upset losing an exclusive, but at the
Hmm.
same time, if you've had these games for, a year, 2 years, 3 years, you've been playing them and having fun, and Nintendo players haven't, so,
Hmm. That's true.
um, I feel like I like having the competition just because it
Hmm.
drives creativity, but I don't really know Microsoft's, how much profit they pull out of Xbox. I know in
Hmm.
Japan, they really don't have much of a presence compared
No,
to
they
Sony and
don't.
Nintendo. I feel like if they targeted that market,
Hmm.
they'd probably be doing better, but, well, that's neither here nor there. I'm excited for whatever games they bring because 'cause there'll be new games for me.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah, me too. So, I mean, it's good. It's good in a way. And I think they're just testing the waters. And if they do well, maybe they'll do more. It doesn't necessarily mean the end of the Xbox. I don't know. Who knows, right? I think, like you said, competition is healthy. I think, if you only have one or two, it does make it a lot harder for creativity, although Nintendo probably will continue to be quite creative, I imagine. How would I feel if Nintendo's exclusives went onto another console? Probably not
Well,
great.
I mean, I'm still mad that Xbox has the rare games, They
Yes,
have Rare Replay
exactly.
that has NES
Mhm.
and 64 games, and, I want
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
So, I
Mhm.
get the feeling. I
Yeah,
do.
totally.
Um, yeah, I don't think there's a difference between bringing over an old game and then bringing over, like, a killer app. It shows you how
Mhm.
dated I am using that expression, but, they're not gonna bring over a game that's a system seller. But
Yeah.
if it's a game
Yeah.
that's been on the market and has had the bulk of its sales already, what do they have to lose?
Exactly. Yeah, that's it. That's a good point. I think it's if it helps them and it helps us, it's kind of win-win. So we'll see how it goes. But it was interesting. It was interesting news, and yeah, a lot of people were quite upset. So um, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah, it's an interesting time because like I said, Sony's obviously looking at their next console. Nintendo's, doing really well currently. They haven't always though. Wii U is the case in point there. Microsoft's struggling with Xbox, the latest Xbox, especially in, like you said, Japan. It's a really interesting time for the consoles. And things change very quickly. The Switch 2
Mm.
could be wildly successful or it could be a flop. We've seen this happen before. So who
That's
knows
a
what's
good
going to
point,
happen?
and,
Mm,
thinking about it, even when Nintendo struggled, like, the Wii U was a struggle, but they had the 3DS, right? And
hmm.
to a lesser extent, the GameCube, kinda struggled next to the
Yeah.
PlayStation 2, but they had the Game Boy, Color, Game Boy Advance, so
Hmm.
their
True.
handhelds have kinda propped up the home consoles that have, not been as successful, so
Yeah.
although I guess you could argue Microsoft has other revenue, they're not just a game maker, but
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and Sony for that matter, I suppose.
yeah. But I don't
They
know
make
how
a
they
lot of
break down, like,
mm,
the profits by division or whatever, or that's well above my
yeah,
pay grade.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's interesting,
Mm,
and we'll continue to see what happens. Yeah, who knows? You cannot predict the future. It's all up to the parties involved and the fans and how well things sell. But yeah, it's going to be an
mm,
interesting, couple of years, I think, especially for Nintendo fans as we wait for more news on the Switch successor. But anyway, I thought that was very interesting news. Yeah. But we'll move on to the games we're playing since we're kind of at the halfway point of the show. And the big one, of course, is Mario versus Donkey Kong. And I am lucky enough to be reviewing this title, and I'm very excited about that. And I'll have my review up
yay.
during the week. And so I've been playing it, of course, and I'm loving it. It is really really good. Is it what I expected? Yes, maybe more so, but
Ooh,
in a good way. So
better than the demo?
much better than the demo, yes. I mean, the demo's fine, of course. It's just really short. It's just very, very short. It just gives you a very, very small taste. 3 levels, wasn't it, I think? So, but you know how the format works. It's multiple worlds, and in each world there are 6 playable puzzle levels, and then there's 2 kind of, um, what are they? Like, one's a boss fight and one's like a I don't know, the one where you lead the little minis
Oh,
through to
yeah, the
collect
mini
the
one, yeah.
yeah, I don't know what you call that. It's like a bonus level, I don't know. Excuse me. So essentially, world 1 opens up. You can only do the first level, I believe. Once you've done and this is the case for every world. Once you've done the first level of that world, all the levels unlock. So you can do them in any order you like, but you can't move on to the next world until you've done the whole world, as in you've beaten Donkey Kong. So each world features a little battle with Donkey Kong at the end, which is really fun, and that unlocks the next world. Of course, you can collect all the little extras in each level, which gives you a gold star. You don't need to do that to unlock the world, but of course, being a completionist, I do need to do that, so I do
I was
that.
gonna ask you, do you move on and then go back, or do you try to do it all in the first run?
I've been trying to do it as I've been going, except for the boss fight. I did come back because the boss fight also you can get a gold star by not losing lives during the boss fight. And in my first one with Donkey Kong, I did lose a couple of lives. So I went back and did it, but not until I'd finished World 2. So, but as
Oh,
I go, if I miss a gift, there's 3 gifts in each level. There's like the red, what is it? Yellow, red, and blue.
yeah.
If I miss them, I'm like, because like in one level, I picked up the mini Mario which ends the level. And then I'm like, oh, there's a present. I didn't get it. Dang it. Oh, I'll just go back and do it again. So
Oh.
while it's fresh in my mind, yeah. I do like seeing those gold stars. Was I a teacher's pet? Hmm. Yes. Yes, I was. Uh, something about a gold
Did they
star.
do gold stars or do they do smiley faces?
We had stars. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we had stars. Did you have smiley faces
I
at
think,
school?
well, I seem to remember both, so I don't know, maybe it depended by
Yeah.
teacher or by year, I don't know.
Yeah, true. I'm sure we had stamps as well, like that had smiley faces, but the gold stars were the best. They're just the best. Yeah, these days they actually give out, Yeah, it's different. They don't seem to give out gold stars anymore. They give out little they're called boarding passes. It's like, "You've done a good job this week. Here's a boarding pass. You get to take it to Tuck Shop." Do you know what Tuck Shop is?
Boarding pass.
It's like
That must be a local thing from you, I don't
yeah,
know.
I think it's a local thing. You get to take it to the canteen. I think that's probably what you call it, and you get, like, a free ice cream, which is kind of a little reward. So
Canteen.
what do you call it? We call it Tuck Shop, so I don't know what you call it over there.
I'm not
Like
even
where you
sure
buy
what
food.
canteen is. I think a canteen, like, what an army guy drinks out of.
Oh, well, what do you call the place where you buy food at school?
The
You know,
cafeteria?
you buy okay, cafeteria. Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds
okay.
good. We call it tuck shop, so
Oh, I kinda like that, actually.
yeah, it's very Australian. Anyone listening who is in Australia will know the term tuck shop. So yeah. Anyway, I digress. Yeah, so it's really fun. It starts off fairly easy, I suppose, as in it eases you in, and if you play the demo, you'll know what I mean because that's the first world, like 3 levels of the first world. Shows you the mechanics. World 2 is probably a little bit more complicated. You're in like a Donkey Kong jungle situation. There's vines, there's different enemies, and then by World 3, things start to heat up. And I that's a pun because it's a fire world, but also it is tricky.
Ah,
And but fun. It's really, really fun. And so I've tried the casual mode, I've tried the whatever the normal mode's called. I've tried the two-player mode. My son and I have been playing. Two-player mode is really fun. It's very cool. You get to play as Toad as the second player, and you can do everything Mario can do. It's not like you're relegated to a second role. You can do everything Mario can do. You can
oh,
kill
nice.
the enemies, you can pick up the keys, unlock the door, you can do whatever. You can switch there's the switches that turn off the blocks. You can make the blocks go on and off. Everything. You can do it all. So Toad can do it all, and Mario can just sit and watch, or you can work together, whatever. Yeah,
Cool, I was
it's really
curious
fun.
about the two-player,
Yeah,
mode.
I was
Is it
too.
always the same color toad, or can you pick color?
No, it's just a red Toad, the
Uh-huh.
traditional. Yeah, the original, the OG Toad. So yeah, he's in there. Yeah, you can't choose colors. It's really easy to switch on and off. You just connect the controller and you can play. You can't do it during a level. I think you have to do it in the level select screen. But at any point in the game, you can also switch between casual and again, I've forgotten the name. It starts with a C, but like the normal mode, you can
Okay.
switch between that at any point as well. So you can switch it on and off. The only real difference between casual and normal that I can see is at the time. Oh, well, sorry, there are a couple of differences, but the main difference is there's no timer in casual mode. So you don't have this countdown hanging over your head, this sort of threat of running out of
Oh,
time,
I see.
which as the levels get harder, that's pretty handy actually. So you also get to bubble, just like in the new Super Mario Brothers series. If you get hit, you become a bubble and you go back to the latest flag point. You don't have to restart. You don't lose a life. And you get 5 bubbles, I think, and then
Can
maybe you
toad
lose
pop
lives after
you
that.
if you're in a bubble?
Yes. It doesn't quite work the same way with two-player though, I think. But Toad can bubble, and
Okay.
Mario can bubble. Yeah. So you can do the bubble situation as well when you're a two-player, and you can bubble to each other. So if you're at the start and Mario's kind of moved on a bit and you don't want to jump over the fireballs or whatever, you can bubble to Mario. So that's handy.
Oh, that's convenient.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, it's really fun. I think I can see a lot of people, maybe like couples, like you and Jen might enjoy it. I don't know, like just people who have, a pair of people can just sit there and play it together and enjoy it, because it's not easy, of course, but it's easier when there's two of you and the bubbles are there. It gives you a bit more reason to keep playing if you're not a gamer as well. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're a gamer and your partner's not, they would feel comfortable joining you because it's not too difficult for them,
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah,
absolutely,
it's
or,
going.
if you're a parent
Yeah.
and, like, your kid is maybe too little to be good at
Mhm.
a game,
Mhm.
but they still
Yeah,
wanna
yeah.
play.
Yeah, because there are some tricky jumps, and Mario and Toad do this cool little acrobatic jump where you can sort of handstand and backflip, and it gives you a higher jump. So there's a few little tools in Mario's belt that help you get through, and they're not hard to pull off, but we did die a fair few times in the fire world. We started to die. And at the very beginning, actually, I'll just say this before we move on, but in the very beginning, so as you're playing through, randomly, one of the levels you've completed turns into a one up mushroom kind of icon. And I was like, oh, what is that? And so you go back and redo the level, but it's different. And you just have to run around this little level and collect one ups. and get this flying key and take it to the treasure chest, and you get 5 one-ups if you make it in time. You have 30 seconds, to do this.
Mm,
So you can end up with, like, 8 or 9 lives from this one bonus level.
wow.
And I was like, "Huh, I've got, like, 26 lives now. This game is so easy." I needed those lives later on. So don't be put off at the beginning of how kind of it feels kinda easy at the start. Like I said, it eases you in, and that's a good thing because you will need those lives later. So, yeah, the challenge ramps up. Yeah, it's super fun, and you'll love the music as well, Trev, the 'cause you love your music. The music really stands out, it's really nice. There's a few little Mario themes weaved in, which I really like.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. The graphics look lovely. It's really, really fun. It's doing really well. It'll get a probably a very good review from me. I'm enjoying my time with it, so watch out for my final thoughts during the week. Did you have any other questions about Mario versus Donkey Kong for me?
No, it's, definitely one I wasn't able to grab it on launch day, but I do have it, uh, in my wish list, so hopefully within
Yeah.
the next few weeks, although now that Princess Peach is looking better,
Yeah.
I don't know. I gotta decide, can I get 2 games in the span of a month?
Yeah. I don't know, and Princess Peach might come with, some sort of pre-order bonus maybe. I should check out the situation with that as well. Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway. Yeah, so it's going well. So definitely enjoying my time with Mario versus Donkey Kong. If
yeah.
listeners are playing it, let us know how you're finding it, what you think. I love that the boss battles are different each time as well. Like in one, you have to throw things at him. One, and you would have seen this in the trailer. You're kind of above him on some vines. You got to knock the fruit down to hit him, and he goes faster and faster. That's pretty tough, that one. So, yeah, each one seems different, which is cool. Keeps things interesting. Mm.
Nice, and thank you to our rep for getting us a press code. We never take those for granted, so
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, thank you. I'm very excited to be reviewing this one. Definitely. Yeah, so let's move on to something that you've been playing for the magazine, which is Sega Ages Fantasy Star. What's happening with
yeah.
that one?
So the issue, this upcoming issue brings back switching on a budget,
Hmm.
which was a spread that we haven't had for a couple issues,
Yeah.
and I was trying to figure out how I wanted to structure it. You know, if I wanted to stick to the old style or try something new, and I'm like, what if we had a themed piece where I just look at some of these Sega Ages games because they're
Hmm.
already even full price. They're pretty, budgeted, but
Hmm.
they happen to be on sale, which was, you know, just a few bucks for these classic games. And I already had a couple, so I'm like, oh, I should probably pick up one more so I can do have a trio of games.
Yeah.
So I picked up Fantasy Star, which I don't recall ever playing the original. I played the couple of the sequels on Genesis, and of course, I was in an RPG mood coming off playing the Pixel remaster of Final Fantasy. So this was a nice follow up, a retro RPG. Of course, Kirk's not here to hear me talk
Yeah.
about this, but um, a lot of fun. It's really impressive that this was an 8-bit game. It doesn't look like it. It really looks more like a 16-bit game in my mind.
Cool.
And what's really cool with the Sega Ages version is they have a built-in map
Hmm.
because, you know, whipping out the graph paper and making mazes is something I associate with being a kid. But as an
Yeah.
adult with, responsibilities and schedules, that's not anything I can be bothered with. So that alone is just makes me appreciate the game in a way I probably wouldn't have been able to had I played it
Hmm.
as a kid. It's a great little sci-fi RPG, like a science fantasy, which is kind of stands out because most RPGs tend to be more fantasy. So to
Mm,
see
that's
like a
true.
lot of these like Star Wars type nods is so cool. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. Like I said, I picked it up to find a piece for the mag, and now I'm just playing it for fun. So
Cool. What? So was this a Master System title originally?
it
Sega Master
was,
System?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And eventually in life, I did pick up a Sega Master System, but not during its commercial life because,
Mm,
a little kid, you can only, you can't be buying every system. So
yeah.
I had my
Yeah.
NES, and I just have to look at like screenshots of that in a magazine or something. But uh,
Hmm.
yeah, it was always striking looking, and now being able to play it on Switch. is just something else, and yeah, I love the first person dungeons were so cool. There really was nothing like it. So as a piece of history, it's cool, but even as, a game on its own, I'm playing it for the first time in 2024, and I'm really liking it.
That's
And I'll
awesome. It does look
probably
mm,
yeah, I'll probably wanna revisit the other games after I'm done with it,
mm,
just so I can get the full
mm.
Phantasy Star experience.
How many are there in that series?
Well, there's Phantasy Star 2, 3, and 4. If I
Mhm.
remember right, 3 is considered more of like a side story.
Mhm.
So the 1st, 2nd, and 4th are kinda like the trilogy, and then they delve off into, like, the Phantasy Star Online games,
Oh, yeah.
which
Mhm.
were a lot of fun, but a very different style of play, so and
Wow.
I think the Sega Genesis, collection, I think, has the 3, Phantasy Star games on Genesis. They might be
Ah.
on online too, Genesis Online.
Oh, yeah.
I
Mhm.
I don't have that, so I can't check.
Is it overdue for a new entry? Why they stopped making them? Do we
That's a
know?
good question, and it might have something to do with them getting out of the hardware business
Mm,
and
mhm.
just having to rely more on IPs that they know are sure things like Sonic or something. So,
Yeah,
I
true.
don't actually know, but I feel like there is a market for, like, science fiction RPGs because I feel like 90% of RPGs are straight, like, kind of medieval fantasy. So,
Yeah,
anytime I could see an
exactly.
RPG embrace science fiction, I think is for me, it's great because that's my taste.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. It's good they can cater to that because yeah, you're right. I mean, there's no shortage of RPGs, that's that's for sure. But there is probably a shortage of sci-fi sort of based ones, compared to
Yeah,
the
I
typical
think so.
fantasy ones. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Would you say is it difficult or is it medium? Like how does the difficulty rate?
Well, there are some tweaks you can make, but
Mhm.
a lot of these older RPGs are very have an initial grind. Like,
Mhm.
it's one of those games, the hardest bit of it's probably the first hour, just because you have to grind enough to build up your hit points.
Yeah.
Once you get to a certain point and earn enough currency and, you can start getting better gear, it actually probably gets easier, but you gotta be willing to do the grind. That's kinda status quo for any old RPG, so, um,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
true.
If you're not into grinding, give the controller to your kid and have them grind for an hour and then take it back.
Yeah. It looks like it came out on the Game Boy Advance at some point as well. Is that true?
Yeah, they had it was a compilation cart.
Ah, cool.
I think it had the first 3. You're right, I'd forgotten about that, Gemma. Um, yeah, that would be an awesome way to check it out too.
Yeah, that's cool. Very awesome. Yeah, well, thank you for that wrap up. I think I look forward to seeing your article, which I'm the one putting it together, I guess. I will.
We'll see it before anyone.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to sharing that article with listeners and subscribers. So yeah, that's awesome. I love the switching on a budget, even just the name of it because it's obviously the Switch. So switching on a budget. I just love the title. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's a good
and I
piece. It's
really
a good
want
piece.
subscribers to help shape it because 'cause it's been a while since we've had it, so if you like
Yeah.
if you like a themed piece or if you wanna see even more games or, uh,
Hmm.
whatever format you'd like, let us know, email us or, reach out to us on social media because we make the magazine for the subscribers. If it wasn't for you guys, there'd be no mag.
Yeah, 100%. That's true. Yeah, we definitely love to know. I mean, this is new being a theme, right, for us, but I love the idea of a themed piece. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah. If it resonates with readers, then we'll continue. But yeah, absolutely. And the other game that you wanted to give us a bit of an overview of was Disney Dreamlight Valley, which what's happening with that one?
Yeah. So this game's been out now for, what, like, over a year, um,
Hmm.
and they've added a lot to it. They always have I don't know why people always call it seasons. It always sounded confusing to me, but, like, "Oh, season pass," or, "Here's season 3," or whatever.
uh, yeah. Yeah. Like
Um,
a TV show, I guess.
yeah, I never particularly cared for that terminology, but whatever.
Hmm.
Um the game is primarily being played by my wife, but we have taken turns and I've watched her play and, um, it's very much in those style of games we've kinda seen a lot of, there's farming, there's
Mhm,
fishing, there's decorating, so, think like Animal Crossing or one of those,
mhm.
life type games.
Do you control a Disney character doing those things, or is it like your own avatar?
No, you make your own avatar, there's a lot of
Okay.
customization options,
Mhm.
and you interact with a lot of Disney characters, uh, Merlin, Mickey,
Yeah.
Goofy, Remy from Ratatouille, like, the list goes on, and, um, yeah, it's one of those games I could see really being a time sink. It's also one of those games that even a year on is still kinda buggy.
Really?
My wife has a knack for glitching games, I don't know what it is, but she's like, "Look at the character." It was kinda frozen, and you couldn't walk, you were just sliding across the world in a frozen animation, like, you couldn't even pick up anything. So we had to reset the game and thankfully, went back to normal,
Wow.
but, um, yeah, it's still a work in progress, so but it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun, and I could see even especially, like, younger players, maybe people who are more associated with the Disney properties, could really get into it because there's a lot of little touches that even I kinda got a kick out of even though I'm not quite the Disney fan I once was, so
Yeah, exactly. I haven't been able to give it a go, but it's certainly an interesting idea. And it definitely fits in with the theme lately of all these, farming kind of titles, like you said. It's just so many lately. Remember that direct last year where there was like farming
yeah,
sim after farming sim? It
it's
must be just
yeah,
really
and,
popular right now.
awesome for people who love that, I've had enough of it, but at least this Disney game gives it its own flavor. I will just throw out a warning if you're thinking of picking it up. There is a case, but unless they've updated it, the physical version just has a code in the case. So you're just
Yeah.
paying to get a plastic case for your shelf, which,
Yeah.
to be fair, I don't mind having because it helps me remember I own the game. Because
True.
a lot of times you
Yeah.
have a big digital library. If the game gets buried, you forget about it. So,
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes I'm looking for a game and I'm like, where do I haven't played it for a while. So you're looking through your list, scrolling through. Oh, where
yeah.
is it? I can't find it.
And we
Yeah.
review so many games. It's like it quickly
Mhm.
balloons in the
Oh, yeah.
hundreds.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. How many hours do you think you and Jen have sunk into it so far?
Oh, probably not that many, maybe, 4 or 5 hours,
Okay. Yeah.
um, maybe 4 hours for Jen, maybe an hour for me, but,
Mhm. Yeah.
it's
Plenty
fun,
more
it has
time to sink
elements I
in.
like, it sorta reminds me of the game like Yonder, the Cloud Catcher Chronicles, you're cleaning up the
Oh, yeah.
world, and as you clean up, like, it's not murk, it's like vines or whatever, you open new areas, you're doing a lot of quests for the characters, helping them out, building friendships. So, it very much feels like games I enjoy kinda blended
Mm.
together. Um, so yeah, I'm glad to have it even if I end up just watching more than playing it because I do think it is one of those time sink games, and
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
with review games, I can't afford to get too lost into into games like that. At least old school RPGs, with, save points and whatnot, they're easy to jump in and out of, but
Yeah, exactly. These ones are designed to be endless, so they're designed to go on forever and ever. You could literally play it. There's no end, right? You just keep doing what you're doing. That's it.
and there's content I can't access because they keep like I said, they keep adding content, so,
Mm,
uh,
mhm.
yeah, it could be overwhelming, unless this is, like, your only game. If you just got a Switch and don't have a
Mm.
lot of games, uh,
Yeah.
this
Yeah,
could be a
that's
slam
true.
dunk for you, but
Yeah. And is it free to play? And then you purchase missions or something? Is that how it works?
yeah, so the at least initially, I think it was like in a like, a early access type thing, it was free to play. A
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of the content or season content, they call it, uh, would be paid for. The
Mhm.
physical one or the physical case,
The
has
box.
content included,
Oh,
and,
yeah.
you get, like, extra goodies, extra currency, so you can experience a lot more of it out of the gate,
Mhm.
if you're impatient or whatnot, but,
Yeah, yeah. It's
yeah,
cool.
I would probably suggest doing research on the game if you're looking to invest, 'cause I suspect there's a lot of different, like, bundle type options. I don't actually
Yeah,
know. It's just
and
my
you'd
thing.
you'd probably pick it based on which characters you like, such as the Little Mermaid, maybe. I don't know if she's in there, but I assume she would be. But you choose, yeah, you wanna play with, I think there were, like, aren't there, like, Monsters Inc. people in there? And like you said, there's, the people you mentioned earlier.
There's a lot of Disney, a lot of Pixar, which I
Mm,
guess is also Disney, and I don't know
yeah.
if there's a Little Mermaid. I have to imagine there would be, and, if
Yeah,
there
that'd be
is, I'll have
cool.
to see if she has a belly button.
Yeah. Yes, do some research. Yeah, cool. Well, I hope you continue to enjoy Disney Dreamlight Valley. I think it sounds like a nice game, like a family-friendly kind of thing that, um, obviously it's Disney, so and it's using Disney's characters, Mickey, etc. They're not
Yeah,
gonna
it
do
might be
anything
worth
terribly.
doing some kind of a write-up on, because it has been over a year, and,
Mhm.
like, we have a review of the original game, but the original game has changed so much, it might just be
Yeah.
worth kinda highlighting some of the new things, so I'll have to see
Yeah.
what I'm gonna do with it.
Yeah, that could be fun. That could be really fun. Could be for the magazine maybe, or for the next issue, or could be
Maybe.
on the website. Yeah. Something to consider. Thank you, Trev. Well, let's move on to our final segment, which is our switch to rumors of the week. And there was a huge one which just kind of happened over the weekend, which is that, and I'm kind of jumping ahead in terms of our notes, Trev. Sorry, but this was the big one that we've been talking about over the last kind of day or two that we've seen a lot of
Mhm.
chatter online. Is that there's rumors of a release kind of date, or not date exactly, but a release timeline or time frame, which is quarter one of 2025. And it's, I'm going to say up front, this is all speculation. These are all rumors. We're just talking about it because it's fun. Nothing's been announced by Nintendo, and until they do so, yeah, just take it with a grain of salt. But this has come from several sources, and the reason it's so exciting, I guess, is because everyone thought it would come out this year, including me, Justin, and Kirk, until Trev cleverly a few weeks ago, or even a month ago, said that you thought actually it would be in 2025. And it turns out, well, if this rumor is true, you could be correct. So
Oh.
that's interesting. Yeah. But I mean, you did
Yeah.
convince me recently anyway, didn't you? Because it kind of made sense the way you put it.
Well, too, you think about it, just looking back to, like, the Switch, the Switch launched with Breath of the Wild. Great game, but, like, I bought that game on Wii U, so for the first
Hmm.
few months of Switch, there wasn't a whole lot. Like, I didn't end up getting the
Yeah.
Switch till that summer when, like, Mario and Rabbids came out.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So I think for Switch 2, it makes sense that Nintendo would wanna have a bigger library,
Hmm.
more choices. There's not gonna be I can't imagine there'd be, like, a Zelda type game, but,
Yeah.
the more games on offer, the more likely they are to appeal beyond the core Nintendo fan, who's gonna buy a day one no matter what. They're going
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
those other gamers. So
Mhm.
I think it makes sense, and honestly, Gemma, I wanna finally have a year where I best Justin with predictions.
Yeah.
The first year we did it, I think we tied, and ever since then,
Yeah.
except for maybe the COVID year, which was a down year for both of us, Justin usually has the edge on me, so, I think I'm due for a win. I'm like
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Justin's like the Harlem Globetrotters, I'm like the Generals. I'm due for my win.
You like Krusty the Clown betting on the Generals?
"I thought the Generals were due." Yes.
Ah, love that. Yes, well, you are due, General Trev.
Uh,
Yeah,
it's all good fun, though. I
honestly,
mean, obviously, if it
it
does come out
is, it
this
is.
year, it's gonna be exciting, so
Yeah, and Justin made good points that they didn't want to waste a holiday season because if they announce it in May, for example, which is possible because Nintendo recently said they're not going to talk about it until at least May, which is when they're going to talk about their next. kind of fiscal
Mm.
year. So that might be when it happens. Um, if they announce something in May, then obviously that's 11 months till March. If it comes out in March next year, that's a long time of waiting. Is that a long time also of people not buying a Switch because they're holding off for a Switch 2? But hardware sales are already in decline, and people probably will still buy games because 11 months is a long time to not play games. You don't need 11 months to play, probably Princess Peach Showtime. You'll get it in March and you'll enjoy it for a month, maybe two. I don't know. It depends how long it is or how slow you are at playing, but it's not necessarily something you need to play over a year. Um, so people will still buy games, I think. I don't know. I'm also not a financial person, so I don't know how these things work.
You
But it's
haven't even
interesting because
upgraded to the OLED, Gemma, because you were waiting for Switch.
no, I know exactly. Man, that's terrible, isn't it? I kind of regret it. The bigger screen, it does look cool. Kirk has one, so I have FOMO, but that's
Do it
okay.
now. Maybe I'll get a full year with it.
Maybe that's true because yeah, it's only February. We could make it a year, and then we'll have two switches, and then that means the kids can use the old one, and I can use the new cool new one.
Ooh,
Yeah, it's tempting. It's also expensive, but that's okay.
yeah,
Um,
that's true.
yeah, so it seems logical, the whole 2025 thing. I think they have business analysts, they have financial people. They're going to weigh the pros and cons up and they're going to make the best kind of decision that works for them. But I love what you said because yes, they need games. That seemed to be a bit of a problem, even though the Switch has done extremely well. There was a bit of a dry spell at the beginning. Mario Odyssey didn't come out till the end of that year or something, I think.
Yeah,
So it was, yeah, I think did have Mario Kart though, relatively early,
mm.
but
But
still, yeah,
still, I mean, that was a Wii
it
U
was
game,
yeah, that's true. It was a
and it
port,
didn't have all
exactly.
the new tracks that we've gotten since at the time,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that's a good point. That would have been easy for them to get up and running quickly at least. But still, no, not a new game. So maybe there'll be a new Mario Kart. Maybe there'll be a new Mario game, at least within the launch window, I imagine. Like you said, Zelda, maybe not. But hey, a 2D Zelda, I'd be happy with
oh,
that.
man. I would love the top-down Zeldas are I mean, I love all the Zeldas pretty much, but
Yes,
the
yes,
top-down
totally.
Zeldas are just they're so replayable. Like, the 3D games can
Hmm.
be so huge, but I
Yeah, a
feel like
bit
I can play
daunting.
a 2D
Mm.
Zelda, over and over and have fun, like, once a year.
Yeah, so I'd be happy with that, Nintendo, if you're listening. The other kind of rumor was that, and this was earlier in the week, that the Switch 2 will have physical and digital backwards compatibility, and that original games can be enhanced, which was kind of we'd heard about the physical, the compatibility, the backwards compatibility. I think is quite important, and I do think Nintendo would go down that path because hello, everyone has a Switch, right? So if you've got physical games and digital, I'd love to be able to carry that across. But the fact that original games could be enhanced is interesting. So they take, I don't know how that would work, but basically, if you plug in a Switch game into your Switch 2, what the rumor is saying is that it would be visually enhanced based on the capabilities of the Switch 2. Um, I don't know. Have we ever seen that before in a system? I don't know how that works. How would you beef up graphics? Is that even possible?
I mean, is it like, could like, they improve, like, the frame rate? Like, I know that's a big thing with a lot of
Yeah,
gamers, like,
maybe. Yeah.
if something's at 30 FPS, could they bump it to 60
Mm.
um,
Yeah,
or
maybe it is
just,
something
like,
like
going
that.
from, like, 720 to 1080? I don't know exactly
Oh,
what it
yeah. Could be. Yeah,
load
I'm not sure
times
either.
maybe,
Yeah. Yeah, load times, definitely. I still find it funny that some games have such long load times. I always, if it's really long, I do try to comment on it in my reviews because I don't like waiting. And I don't think you have to wait if the game's done well, especially a little game. Like you can probably understand why Tears of the Kingdom has a small loading time when you're loading. What is it when you leave a shrine? I think when you go back to the overworld, there's just
yeah.
it's not huge. It's not like it's 30 seconds or a minute or anything like that. It's probably what 10 or 15 seconds. Um, and it's like it's got a nice screen that gives you some tips and things like that, which at least it's something. But a game that just sits there loading for I reckon 30 seconds is my threshold. Anything 30 seconds or more, and I have a clock next to my TV and I look at it and I'm like, yeah, that's 30 seconds. Well, that's too long. That's too long for me. I'm sorry. In 2024.
You have to
Yeah.
think at that point that the game is just not optimized
Yes.
well,
Yeah.
that it's
Exactly.
It's not
Yeah.
that it's pushing the hardware, it's just not, it's a sloppy
Yeah.
port or whatever,
Mhm.
the case may be.
Yeah, and that's why I was happy with Prince of Persia, 'cause I think they did really well on the Switch. They were, similar to Tears of the Kingdom, only very short loading times. Most of the time, there were no loading times, but it was when it did happen, it was quite short, like 5 seconds or something.
That
Yeah,
was
and
a
that was a big.
problem with one of my, last review games I did, Hidden Through Time 2,
Oh, yeah. Mhm.
and they had a lot of issues with load times, like, there was a gimmick you could switch between, like, day and night or sunny
Mhm.
weather, rainy weather, and I I I did, I thought the Switch was, like, gonna blow up when it was doing this. It was like chug, 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 and I'm
Wow.
actually
Yeah.
glancing through my review just to load up the game from when we hit the icon took, or when we get to the menu, hit 40 seconds
Wow. Yeah.
just to load up the game, not counting the in-game loads.
Mhm. Jeez. And, like, if you're listening, 40 seconds may not sound long, but if you sit there and count for 40 seconds, like 1, 2, 3, like, actual seconds, it's a long time to sit waiting. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not nothing. It's something. And especially if you have to do it over and over again, that's when it
Yeah,
gets
they add
really
up.
annoying. Yeah. Yeah, what was that game? Was it River City Girls, I think, that I reviewed a year or 2 ago from, was it Way Forward?
Way
And I was
forward.
really looking
Yeah.
forward to it because I love that company, but man, those loading times, and it happened all the time. It was so frustrating. Yeah, really got to me, unfortunately. But anyway, so yeah, hopefully the Switch 2 can fix that, is the short story. Yeah. Anything else you want to add on, rumors before we close things off?
No, I'm just whatever comes, whether it's 2024, 2025, I'll be excited for what, um it's not even really the new hardware. I'll be excited for what the new
Mm,
games will be doing
yeah.
with the new hardware.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yes, we will definitely be excited. Definitely looking forward to it. Hope you are too, listeners. If you have a rumor that you'd like us to mention that you've heard, send us a DM or email us. What's our email address, Trev? Is it news at Pure Nintendo?
Um, Mail at purenintendo.com, I think.
Cool. Hit us up on Twitter or Blue Sky or Mastodon as well, and you can follow us on those channels while you're at it. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. We're nearing 200 subscribers, which is super exciting for us. So thank you to all our subscribers and all our listeners. We really, really appreciate your fandom. 50th episode, as we said at the beginning. So thank you so much for joining us on this journey. If you would like to grab yourself a copy of our magazine, which we are currently wrapping up our latest issue, head on over to patreon.com/pure Nintendo and you can be on the list for the next issue. Thank you so much, Trev, for joining me for this special episode.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and, I'll just add for those who listen to us, on Spotify or different podcast outlets, if you do wanna join on YouTube, I just wanna remind that, Gemma really does put up a lot of nice clips, trailers, pictures to match what we're talking about, so, it's another way to experience the podcast, and, it's my preferred way, so,
Oh, thank
we
you,
love
Trev.
listeners no matter where you're listening, but, consider checking us out on YouTube.
Yeah, thank you, Trev. Thank you. And thank you very much, listeners. And until next week, game on, everybody. Bye.
See ya.